Alright guys, it's that time of the year again, Oscar season, and along with Oscar season comes Oscar buzz and people debating what's the best movie of the year, who's the best actress. So Matt and I have decided to go ahead and give you our top 10 2014 movies, and now these are movies we saw. There were a few that we missed, but we're going ahead and lay that list down for you, starting with honorable mentions.
So my honorable mentions were Nightcrawler, great character study, great movie, just barely missed my top 10 list. 22 Jump Street, very funny movie, very meta movie, great performances, again, just definitely top 15. We got Big Hero 6, animated, Disney, Baymax was great, just a great all-around fun kids movie. The Lego Movie, the best animated movie of the year, and the best animated movie of a little while. It's a very original plot, fun characters, fun interactions, and fun story. And Godzilla, the Jaws of this year. It was the biggest cock tease of this season. It was a great movie. Not great performances, but great action, and the final 10 minutes were probably the best 10 minutes in a theater I had all year.
Dang, that's pretty astounding. That's awesome. But okay, I got my list is pretty controversial. I've got under my honorable mentions, I've got Selma. I know a lot of people that's gonna be their #1 movie of the year. It just didn't quite sit with me like a lot of the other movies did. But I'm talking like, you know, that's like 11 or 12 for me. 22 Jump Street, hilarious movie. Love Jonah Hill, and you know the sequel's always an obstacle for people. I think they handled it very tastefully. Under the Skin, that's another one that people are probably going to be shocked by. I think I tried a little too hard. I understand that it's coming from the source material in the book. Scarlett Johansson did a great job, don't get me wrong, but it didn't pique my interest the way it did some other people. Godzilla, man, that atomic breath, how can it not be an honorable mention? You know, kind of after the Godzillas we've seen in the early 2000s, this is definitely a step up, and it nearly made my top 10 list. And then finally, we have Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which a lot of people are going to say, why is that in your top 10? For me, it was just, when I saw it, I don't know, I wasn't in quite the right mindset and I didn't enjoy it as some of the other movies on my top 10 list. That's the only reason it's not on there. Alright, so let's go ahead and get right to it. Matt, why don't you give us our number 10 on your list?
Alright, let me unlock. Hold on. Alright, number 10 is a lot of people's number 1. It is Guardians of the Galaxy. This is a fun movie. That's what it was. It was fun. Like, was it the best movie that Marvel's ever produced? No. It was like number 3 for me, honestly. And it was fun, very fun, space opera, Star Wars-esque, but you know, surface level, was it, you know, the meat on the bone? Was there enough meat on the bone? I don't think so. Kind of lame villain, kind of simplistic story.
Yeah. I mean, Alright, so number 10, I actually have Nightcrawler. I think that it was a great performance by Jake Gyllenhaal. Fantastic movie. I think where it was lacking was just, I don't know, I think they kind of sacrificed plot for character development. I don't know how they would have done it, but I would have liked to see Jake Gyllenhaal a little more of like, because they did a really good job with setting up like the huge crime, like the climax was the huge crime scene and showing how evil it was, and man, he was evil. It lulled sometimes, there was a few pacing issues, but overall still a fantastic movie.
Great.
And it makes my top 10.
Great performance by Jake, I love it. Alright, my number 9 is The Babadook, probably the best horror movie of the year, Australian film, which is awesome. It is it's great like psychological thriller, but it's not even like, you can't even classify it as a horror movie because it's so, you know, it's about the human condition, and it's about this evil like doppelganger type thing. Is the monster real? Is it not? Great performances all around, and Jennifer Kent's directorial debut, and she just knocked it out of the park.
Killed it. Alright, very good. Moving right along, my number 9, I have Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm pretty much on the same page as Matt. I own it on Blu-ray. I enjoy this movie just as many as any other person. The reason it's not higher on my list, like Matt said, it just lacked a little depth that I think the reason you're going to see later on in my list that Cap 2 is higher up, because it had a little more meat on the bones, to quote you.
Right, let's see, my number 8 is a movie that is not lacking in depth, and that is Enemy. Another Jake Gyllenhaal film. Probably, I think honestly, this performance was probably better than Nightcrawler, and I know I'm going to get crucified for that. But this movie is so like original, so interesting. It's based on a short story called The Doppelganger, and it's such a interesting visually and interesting like acting wise and just story, and I think everything kind of meshed well together. Probably, honestly, the weirdest movie on my list, but I loved this movie.
Definitely. All right, and speaking of Cap 2, it's number 8 on my list. Great Marvel movie, definitely. It could be debatable number 1 movie for Marvel they've done, and it gives me a lot of hope for continuing the Marvel universe and expanding that. Just, I mean, Cap 2, head of the Avengers, not everybody's favorite character, but you're gonna root for him that entire
right. Cap 2 is amazing. My number 7 is Interstellar. Now this one, again, very divisive film. Christopher Nolan, it's either his best film or worst film, depending on who you ask. To me, it doesn't rank as high as a lot of films. It's kind of down there with Insomnia, but still a very solid theater-going experience. This is the movie that got people talking, which is amazing. We talked about this before. Christopher Nolan gets you in seats and gets you talking about his movies. And just as a cinema lover and as a movie fan, just seeing that and seeing people excited or disinterested in this film, it generated a lot of buzz, which to me it enhances the experience. Great performances, interesting story, interesting visuals, and it was a nice visual treat this year. Definitely.
And look at that, number 7, Interstellar. Basically, wow. Like, if you're looking for beautiful movies, this is definitely the movie to watch. And Christopher Nolan, he has done some great work, and I think it's really a testament to how good Christopher Nolan is when we talk about Interstellar being one of his worst movies he's done, but it's still on my top 10 list. Like,
right.
This man can do no wrong. It really
right. Christopher Nolan's a fantastic director, and my next one is another fantastic director. It's number 6 is Gone Girl. Now that's David Fincher for you, man. David Fincher is just an amazing director. Fight Club, he's got 7. Gone Girl was such a fantastic story based on the novel by Gillian Flynn. Reese Witherspoon picked it up, our girl Reese Witherspoon, and she produced it, and she was like, all right, I'm gonna put an interesting female character that's crazy, and I'm gonna have Ben Affleck run around like a chicken with his head cut off the entire movie. Great crime thriller, very interesting psychology. The psychology of criminals is delved into this movie a little bit, and it's also like, it's not the typical whodunit type movie. It's very, you have to be very invested in this film to fully, get the whole meat of the story.
Yeah, definitely. All right, at number 6, I have a movie that's probably not on anybody else's top 10 list, and that movie is Locke. I think it's the most underrated movie of the year. I think it's highly underappreciated, and when we're talking about best actor for the year, I think that there definitely needs to be Tom Hardy's name in there, because he killed it in this performance. I fell in love with the movie right away. I wasn't sure where it was going, but where it ended up was fantastic, and I think for an experimental film to be that high on my list is a testament to Locke.
Hey, I'm Locke!
Yeah. He is wearing the Bane mask the entire movie.
Alright, number 5 is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Now this was your honorable mention.
Yes.
This broke my number 5 because apes on horseback. It was awesome. Just it was interesting because the apes, you care about the apes more than you ever care about the humans. The humans are just put to the side, and the apes are front and center. The hierarchy, it's like a political power play. It's almost Shakespearean in quality, the difference between Koba and Caesar, and the power struggle between that and the son, wanting to go with Koba, then realizing he's evil, and he's not completely evil. He's the most like 3-dimensional villain we've got all year. Just great action sequences, and I hope that they top it with the next Planet of the Apes, which has got a release date, which is awesome.
That's fantastic. I didn't even know that. That's good news. I just got really happy. All right, number 5, Enemy. What a treat. Jake Gyllenhaal has made our list, both of our lists, twice now. He is killing it this year. Man, Enemy. Just so good. Same guy who did Prisoners. I think it's David Villeneuve, and Studio A24, who have been putting out some fantastic material lately. I mean, it's it's a movie that will leave you going, what did I just watch? But I want to watch it again. You know, it's romantic, but it's off-putting. It pulls you in, but it's offsetting. I mean, this movie has everything, and it's just a great Jake Gyllenhaal movie.
Spiders are taking over the earth, what?
And no, mainly Toronto.
All right, number 4 is Captain America 2, or Captain America: The Winter Soldier. To me, this is my favorite Marvel movie. It's like, it ranks up there with the Avengers. Great, just from coming off of Cap 1, man, like, I am a huge Captain America fan, and Cap 1 was okay, but this one was great. It just pushed the bar. It was the first, like, tonally different Marvel movie that we got. It dealt with a lot of different themes, like political intrigue, and just, it was an homage to these old, like, political thrillers. Robert Redford was in it, and Sebastian Stan was probably the best Marvel villain besides Tom Hiddleston's Loki as the Winter Soldier. I'm really excited for Cap 3 because of this. The action scenes alone got my heart racing. I was like, hell yeah, beat the shit out of him, Cap. It was awesome. I loved it, and it has me really excited for where Marvel's going with their future movies, except for Ant-Man.
Oh, we'll see about that one. All right, at number 4, I have Gone Girl. Like, just reading my list, I'm like, these are so good, such good movies. At Gone Girl, I love David Fincher. He's one of my favorite directors, and to see him continually put out great material and not miss a beat with Gone Girl, it is just makes me so happy inside to see this. And Gone Girl, I mean, Rosamund Pike and Ben Affleck. Okay, remember Ben Affleck is the guy who people cringed when they found out he was being Batman? And I think it put a lot of those worries aside when we saw him in Gone Girl, because like Ben Affleck, that guy's really good. He's really good.
Yeah, he's all right.
And so I mean, it's just to see this movie. I pre-ordered it. Matt pre-ordered it. I mean, that's how much we love this movie, and particularly me, because I put it up higher on my list today. Let the record show.
All right, my number 3 is Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. Now, I said in our review that this is a film for cinema lovers. I stand by that. It is an amazing film. It looks like it's one continuous take throughout the entire movie. Great performances by Michael Keaton, by Edward Norton, by Emma Stone, by Zach Galifianakis, by everybody, just everybody.
The list goes on.
Yeah, it goes on. It's amazing. As a theater lover and as a former thespian, I absolutely love this movie because it showed the intricacies of acting and the hardships of acting, and whether to be considered a real artist or not to be a superstar, what it means to be like that. It critiques our culture as today, the summer movie blockbusters and the Iron Man 14s and the Avengers 14 Part 1 and 2, and it's just is a great critique on the modern superhero movie. And as a superhero fan, I loved it, and Michael Keaton's back. That's all I gotta say.
Well said. All right, 3, I have the best sci-fi movie of the year, Edge of Tomorrow. Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt killed it on screen. I mean, was anybody expecting this movie to be this good? No, I mean, you could have even said, oh, that movie's going to be good, but no one was expecting it to be this good. I mean, dang. Like, the plot was fantastic, the acting was great, and it really draws you in and makes you... I bought this movie on Blu-ray. It's just so good. Like, it's being a sci-fi fan and seeing so many bad sci-fi movies, but then seeing this one, I think this might be one of the best sci-fi movies of all time. Like, I think in a few years we're going to be having that discussion, because to me, this could be up there with Star Wars. This could be up there as far as like...
Whoa there.
I'm saying, I am saying it. This movie is as good at, you know, it's better than the new Star Wars movies by far. And I mean, I think that it could give Star Wars 7 a run for its money as far as quality.
Doug Liman.
Let me just say, there were no triple-bladed lightsabers in Edge of Tomorrow, so...
There's a force coming, reckoning, whatever. All right, my number 2 film, no surprise here. I've been talking about it for the past month and a half, it seems like. Wild. Oh my gosh, I love this film. It was absolutely a fun film. Reese Witherspoon kills it. Reese Witherspoon's now my favorite actress of all time. She's now my favorite person of all time. I hate you, Josh. Go. It's such an incredible film about human endurance and human suffering, and just the redemption, and it's not even just that, it's like we said in our review, it's nature porn, and it's so many different things combined with excellent filmmaking, and I absolutely love Jean-Marc Vallée. Dallas Buyers Club was fantastic. This film was fantastic. I can't wait to see his next one with Jake Gyllenhaal that he put on hold to make this film. Oh my God, like, that just is a testament of how good Cheryl Strayed's story is, and we love you, Cheryl, by the way. Just hi, Cheryl.
All right, at number 2, I have the famous Birdman, and I mean, I think enough words have been said about this movie. There's so much hype around it, and well-deserved hype. Like, you know, I didn't know anything about this movie till it was started being talked about. I'm sorry, I'm totally bandwagoned on this movie, but it's so good. I'm not ashamed to say that I love it.
Right, and my number 1 is going to be the biggest shock of number 1s of all time. It is Edge of Tomorrow. Now, if you would have said a year ago, you would have said, Matt, Edge of Tomorrow was your number 1 movie of the year, I'd have been like, you're crazy. This looks stupid. It looks like Elysium. It looks like Oblivion. I don't even care. What is this movie? It's stupid. It's just Groundhog Day meets Elysium. Dumb. No, it blew my mind in so many different ways because the acting was great. The action was great. The storyline was just fantastic, and it's based on a manga, and you know, I'm a huge manga anime guy. I loved it. It just felt so original and different than what we're getting. It's not generic action slop. It's not explosions all the time. It's a very smart movie. Great female lead in Emily Blunt. She has now proven herself as an action star, and Tom Cruise is a pussy in this movie, which I really enjoy because Tom Cruise is always a suave, like, oh, I'm going to save the day, and Emily Blunt's like, no, I'm going to kick your ass, and she's the full metal bitch, and I loved it, and Bill Paxton was great in this movie, and just, I've watched this movie like 4 times after, I watched it 2 times in theaters, and then like 4 times afterwards, and it still is really interesting movie, just great movie, and I know I'm going to get crucified for saying it's my number 1, but I don't care. Love it.
No, I mean, I won't crucify you, Matt.
Well, thank you.
My number 1. What a good year for movies. I'm sad it's ending, but I'm going to have to give my number 1 is Wild, which probably isn't on anybody else's number 1 either. But this movie, I think it has that personal appeal to it. I mean, you really have to connect, and that did. I was a huge fan of Dallas Buyers Club, and to see Jean-Marc Vallée come out swinging with Wild, and Reese Witherspoon watching her interviews, like, I watched the movie and I thought it was okay. I waited a few days and then I woke up one morning and I'm like,
this is the best movie of all time.
This might be one of the best movies I've ever seen, because it's so unlike any other movie. I think that's really the reason that it's so high on my list, is it's so unique to itself and not an off-putting way, not like some crazy high school experimental film. This is a well done, professionally shot, Oscar-worthy movie, and the fact that it's not up for Best Picture, or it doesn't seem like it's going to be up, is heartbreaking to me. If Reese Witherspoon does not win Best Actress, they'll be rioting in the streets. They are going to have to lock me up and put me in an insane asylum.
We're going to Selma.
We're going to Selma to riot. I mean, and it's just such a good year for movies. I have been very pleased looking back.
So honestly, like I was just thinking about it doing this thing, and honestly, just great movies in general, even the ones that weren't on my honorable mentions list, like my honorable mentions list. Like,
honestly, we should have done a top 25.
25, yeah, just great movies. Snowpiercer, that's another one that I just wanted to throw out there. Snowpiercer is a very...
it's on Netflix.
It's a so very, cool. Very awesome movie. If you guys haven't seen Snowpiercer, check it out. But yeah, so yours was Wild. Mm-hmm. Mine was Edge of Tomorrow. 2 very controversial movies.
Yeah, probably not on anybody else's list.
It's
but
probably just like number 10 on the list. And oh, screw that. Very interesting movies. But hey, it's our own personal list, so you know.
Yeah, let us know what your top 10 movies of the year were in the comments below. And if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe.